with Congressman Donald Norcross and Bob Sciavinato, who is the head of the Southern New Jersey Central Labor Council. And we're at the monument to Peter J. McGuire, the father of Labor Day. And recently, this monument was placed on the National Register of Historic Places, and Congressman Norcross had a lot to do with that. Can you give us some info on that, Congressman?
Well, I've been coming here on Labor Day ceremonies literally since I was a child. Came with my brothers because of my father's involvement. And we know the history. You know, Peter McGuire, founder of Labor Day, helped found the Carpenters Union, was the original advocate for workers. Well, he's buried right here in my hometown of Pennsauken, and we thought it was appropriate and we thought it was timely that we make sure that everybody knows that, because many of the things we take for granted today, 40-hour work week, 5-day work week, was not present when Peter McGuire first came around. So we, along with the local historians, Mr. Hughes, who did much of the research, put forward to make sure that it became part of the national historic features that this country looks forward to and looks to for its history.
And Bob, as you know, so many Americans celebrate Labor Day, but most of them don't know how Labor Day came about. And so it's important that people know about Peter J. McGuire.
It is. The monument stands as a testimony to McGuire's vision that the American worker should have a day apart from everybody else in order to have a day off and enjoy the fruits of their labor. As the Congressman was saying, you know, back when Peter J. McGuire was advocating for workers' rights, there was no such thing as a 40-hour work week or a 5-day work week. There was no such thing as vacations. No such thing as unemployment. That wouldn't come along until after McGuire died. So I think it's really appropriate that the 1st Congressional District in New Jersey actually has a real labor guy. You know, McDonald was a working electrician. He put on a tool belt and a hard hat and went to work every day. Who knows what it's like for the average worker to have to go to work every day, get up early, put in their 8 to 10 hours a day, and be able to go home with something in their pocket that affords them a living wage. I think it's, you know, we're really lucky that we had Congressman Norcross to get the ball rolling on getting this monument on the National Historic Register. And I know that he put in a lot of hours of work.
Well, we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, and Peter McGuire is one of those. You know, worker safety, so you come home from the job. You know, OSHA wasn't around in the beginning. It took advocates for working families to put that together. And the dignity of a retirement, which is challenged so much today. After years and years of work, those golden years should be there for everyone.
Well, thank you, Congressman. We really want to thank you for making it possible for this monument to be on the National Register of Historic Places, and more Americans should learn about Peter J. McGuire while they're celebrating Labor Day and having their picnics or being at the seashore or whatever. So thank you so much, Congressman Norcross, and thank you, Bob. Thank you, Congressman.
And Pennsauken, because we're in my hometown, and they're the ones who keep this going. All local politics is what makes this work, because they know how important this is to everybody who calls America home.
So very important, and thank you, Mr. Peter J. McGuire. Thank you very much. Everyone, welcome. Come on over this way, everybody. So glad you could all make it. So glad everyone could make it. Come on over. Come on and gather around. Well, welcome. Welcome, professors. And all the other union members, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you could all make it today. Please follow me over here. Well, this is the burial site of Peter J. McGuire. Hey, let's take a walk over to the monument now. think you'll really enjoy everything we're going to see today. Right over this way. Huh? Pretty nice monument, huh? They really did a good job with this.
If it wasn't for this man, there would be no Labor Day.
That's right.
Beautiful Labor Day it is.
It is beautiful.
Now let's all come over here and get comfortable with Peter.
Yeah, let's all.
Oh, Peter. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, brother.
Now, do all of you know one another? Have you met before?
Well, let's introduce ourselves. You know, now some of us are from Rutgers,
True.
Rowan,
Yeah.
Princeton, U of P, Temple, Stockton University.
Well, let me begin. I'm from Rutgers, Camden.
Princeton.
Oh, Princeton, man.
Yeah.
And I am Professor Kenneth Quentin Shuttleworth
Oh.
from the University of Pennsylvania. Always #1.
Oh, big shout. And we have our lovely couple over here, Professors Tom and Helen.
Where else would my wife go? She's third generation owl. I went to Rowan, formerly Glassboro State College. We met at the Chatterbox in Ocean City. on summer vacation.
Oh, I know the Chatterbox. Very nice.
And I am from Richard Stockton University.
And so, what unions are all of you guys from?
Local 102, electronics workers.
We're from the Carpenters Union, me and my friend here.
Carpenters.
I'm from Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists.
Oh, a fancy actor. What shows have you been in, miss?
Everybody asks that. Various television shows and movies. In answer to the professor's request, the locals sent me here because they think I'm really expressive. I want you to know that I studied about union versus non-union history.
Well, what better way to celebrate Peter J. McGuire than by having a Labor Day picnic on his holiday? Right here. His memorial. And a beautiful monument it is, isn't it? It was erected in 1952 by the United Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners of America for Peter's centennial birthday.
That's our union.
And it's worth mentioning that the area congressman, Donald Norcross of Camden, recently got this whole site on the National Register of Historic Sites.
Very nice.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, very important. Well, let's begin, ladies and gentlemen, by thanking God for Peter J. McGuire. For without him and other labor leaders and dedicated union workers, we would not have the decent lives that we enjoy today.
That's right, like 40-hour work weeks.
No exploitation of child labor.
And collective bargaining.
And decent livable wages. And extra pay for overtime.
Seniority and job security.
That's right, that's right.
Weekends and holidays off, including this one, the one for which he is the most famous, Labor Day!
And health care benefits.
Disability insurance in the case of severe health problems.
That's right, Mike.
Basically not being treated like garbage as many employees were before the birth of
That's
unions.
right, that's right. Well, now look, I know that we've all done a lot of extensive research on the organized labor movement in America. So why don't we just all go around and take a turn and state what we've learned and give a little insight. I'll begin. Well, obviously, Peter J. McGuire was a real hero of the national labor movement. I'm so glad we have his monument right here, right in Pensacola, New Jersey. Now, he was born in New York's Lower East Side in 1852, but he lived most of his life right nearby here in Camden. So I'll open it up now to comments. Let's just keep it informal.
I'll take us to the beginning.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Peter was born into a poor Irish family in New York City on July 6, 1852. Now, both of his parents had immigrated from Ireland. After his father enlisted into the army to fight in the Civil War, Peter, at age 11, had to take on odd jobs in order just to help the family survive. Now, can you imagine having to go to work to become the breadwinner of a family at age 11?
Oh, that's crazy. Nothing was easy in those days. Like, could you imagine, like you said, at 11 years old, had to become the sole provider, the head of the household, at 11 years old. Crazy.
Crazy. Well, in order to gain an education, he found a school that was dedicated to underprivileged youth called Cooper Union. And it was located in New York's East Village.
And that's where he met the great Samuel Gompers.
Yes.
Gompers.
He and Gompers got together at that school, and eventually they talked their way into something called the American Federation of Labor, the AFL, which was really the beginning of the movement.
Yeah, AFL.
He also co-founded the United Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners. And at age 17, he apprenticed for a piano company and joined the Cabinet Makers Union. He studied everything he could about labor organizing. And when the piano company reduced his pay, he quit. He became a prime organizer of the Social Democratic Working Man's Party. Now, this party felt that the American worker could advance more through political means
Makes
rather
sense. That made a lot of sense.
rather than violence.
Right. That made sense.
Yeah.
That was the key. It was better to get the political leaders on labor's side.
Right.
McGuire founded the Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners, and in 1881 moved his office to Philadelphia, settled living in Camden. That fact gives him a special place in my heart, that he lived and worked right here in our Delaware Valley for much of his life, and spent his final years living in Camden.
That's right. Good old Camden.
Now, McGuire built his followers from a growing number of people who simply wanted a better life.
The irony is that as hard as it was for workers in those times, it was far better than the working conditions they faced in countries they came from.
That's right.
Then came the Industrial Revolution.
New inventions and massive immigrations as more and more workers was needed. They came from all over the world here to seek a better life in the USA.
Right. Good old USA.
And you know, it was all part of what turned out to be the greatest contribution the unions made to our American culture, both economically, socially, and politically.
Yes.
And I'm talking about the American middle class.
Exactly.
No other force in the world like it. And it was being put together as opportunity and jobs just exploded in this economy.
That's right.
And textile mills.
That's right. Textile mills.
And steam power.
Coal.
Iron making and steel.
New schools, hospitals, and roads. Increased military spending.
Darn right.
And garment industries.
Yes.
That's right.
Railroads.
New machinery, electronics. Even farmers had to build new machines to keep up with the demand for food.
Electricity and new construction everywhere.
Well, from late 1800s until now, incredible inventions and advancement
That's
is
right.
what brought the people of the world from a rural society to this modern society that we all enjoy today.
That's right. Yep.
And massive factories were born. Unfortunately, many factory owners didn't quite get it. That the workers should be sharing in the fruits of their labor.
Yeah, that's right.
And treated fairly.
That's right.
That's right. They had to be convinced.
Yeah.
Unions grew up out of necessity.
That's right.
Many workers came here as indentured servants and had to work off the cost of their passage.
Yeah.
That's right.
People work 12, 14 hours a day. They lucky if they even had a Sunday off.
That's right.
And for meager wages.
Yeah.
And don't hesitate or take a break.
Yeah.
Or the boss, he'll be right out there trying to threaten to fire you.
Yeah. Come back.
Or threaten to have you thrown in jail for minor infractions.
There was also sexual harassment.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yes, indeed.
And often with unsafe working conditions. The children in those days were exploited unmercifully. There were many accidents and deaths in the factories back in those days.
That's right. It was an incredibly hard time until the unions got strong.
That's right.
Thank God.
And that's where McGuire came in.
All right, now, let's focus now on what happened here in the United States right before McGuire's time, in the second half of the 19th century. Now, I know many of you know of the Knights of Labor, right? They were the very first really large labor organization that started right across the river over there in Philadelphia.
Well, I wrote a research paper on them.
Oh, well, please.
I read it.
Proceed, Doctor.
Very well. Well,
Oh, go ahead.
in 1869, in Philly, there was a gentleman who was born here in Jersey,
Really?
Cape May to be exact,
Oh.
who became a tailor.
Uh-huh.
Now, his name was Uriah Smith Stevens.
Uh-huh.
And his parents, they were devout Baptists, and he
Okay.
actually would become a minister. However, his family suffered through large financial problems. So he decided to learn a trade. He
Okay.
trained as a tailor.
Uh-huh.
Now, in 1846, he moved over to Philadelphia and continued working as a tailor.
Okay.
Now, first, he helped start and organize the Garment Workers Union
Uh-huh.
to advocate for improved pay, benefits, and working conditions. Now, he was also active in the movement to abolish slavery.
Uh-huh.
I would applaud that because my ancestors had to deal with both slavery and horrific working conditions.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
It was a very, very sad time in our nation's history.
Yes.
Indeed.
Now later, Stevens, along with other garment workers, formed the Knights of Labor.
Right? The Knights of Labor.
Now, it was an organization open to every laborer, mechanic, and skilled worker. Now, in its heyday, around 1886, the Knights of Labor had recorded over 700,000 members nationwide.
Those days.
This organization was very important to note also because it ushered in and fostered the American Federation of Labor in 1886.
And that's where Samuel Gompers and Peter J. McGuire collaborated on putting together the American Federation of Labor, AFL, a big deal in the labor movement.
The labor movement era was a difficult and challenging time, pitting laborers against factory owners. There were walkouts, strikes, violence.
I remember being told my great-grandfather's story of how a group of striking workers was met by police on horseback. The union workers threw ball bearings onto the horses' heads and made them all trip.
Good one.
It was a struggle for simple human fairness.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I wish that this statue could come alive and tell us the story.
Well, you know, I would just like to say that if this statue could speak
Wait a minute.
What?
Oh! Who is that guy? Oh, come on.
Actor? Hey, where'd he come from?
Who is that? John, who is that guy?
No, no, no. It's really me, Peter J. McGuire, at your service.
Great costume.
Professor, what, you hire an actor?
No, I didn't hire any actor. He did it. All right, you did it. All right. Let's just play along. Let's play along with it. Okay, so we have the real father of Labor Day, Peter J. McGuire himself.
We're a ghost.
Believe or disbelieve, but you came to see me today. So why don't we discuss some of the facts of my life, and you'll understand how Labor Day came about.
Okay,
let's hear it.
Hey, you know what? This guy does sound pretty good.
Yeah, he does.
Well, obviously, I'm honored and humbled because this nice monument was built with a statue to me.
True.
Did you know a few days before Labor Day, there's a big celebration here every year with all manner of public officials? Yes, congressmen, senators, even the governor.
Wow.
Union officials, private citizens, scholarship recipients with their union families.
How about that?
All come together on an event that is put on by the Southern New Jersey Central Labor Council. It's a nice honor, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Well, I would say that it was well deserved.
Yes.
Becoming a labor leader was very difficult at first. Many people thought that when I fought for the rights that we now all take for granted today, for example, the 8-hour workday, I was accused of trying to overthrow the authority of the American government and of being a communist. Did you know?
always say that.
Did you know? I was once thrown in jail because I occupied the office of the New York City Police Commissioner because he refused to give us a parade permit. That's how afraid of the workers they were. They wouldn't even let us have a parade. As I encouraged workers to band together, to fight for their rights by withholding their labor, the establishment said that I was a radical who was only interested in personal power. My own father.
They always say that.
My own father. My own father became so disenchanted with me that he turned against me, his own son.
Oh, God.
He publicly disavowed me on the steps of the church for defying the authority of the government.
Oh, God.
That must have hurt you very much.
It rocked me to the core.
Oh, man.
You were only repeating what the Declaration of Independence declares for all men, the right to pursue happiness.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
The life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That's right.
Yes, my father just couldn't understand how committed I had become to helping improving the lives of working people. I can tell all of you that I traveled not only throughout this nation, but many other places in the world, and worked for labor's cause. I organized workers to stand up for themselves in huge numbers.
Yeah.
Yes! Beautiful.
You're the man.
You may remember I'm the University of Pennsylvania guy.
Oh, boy.
So that means that I get stuck with asking the tough questions. And I know you painted a wonderful picture of your efforts in Gompers and everybody else, 100 years ago, but now we're in the 21st century. And I am wondering what's being done, if anything, to strengthen the unions, because as I see it, they're looking pretty weak.
Yes, it's true. You see, labor unions have helped everybody to have a better life, whether they belong to a union or not.
That's true.
Some employers, in fact, tend to offer non-union employees similar wages and benefits that are negotiated for union workers, so they can steer those individuals away from union membership.
Yes, but they're selling out the working situation for everybody.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
No lie!
Yeah.
That's right. If unions were to disappear, you would be astounded to see how quickly employers would reduce pay and reduce benefits.
That's true.
No more 8-hour workday.
Yeah.
No more weekends off.
Yeah.
No more seniority.
Right.
No health care. No pensions.
They're doing that already. That's right.
When workers stick together, conditions improve for everybody.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the union, there's strength.
Yeah.
Yes. Workers can negotiate their living wages, their benefits.
Yes.
Right. That's right on.
And workplace safety.
Right on. Right on.
Union members know that by speaking together, that they can accomplish more than on their own.
That's right. Absolutely.
I would like to say something.
No. Okay.
I've been taking all of this in. We actors owe a great debt to Mr. McGuire and all the labor leaders and union members who had all gone before us. Some may say that the acting profession is frivolous and that I don't need a union. That's not true.
Right.
Before the actors' unions came along, we thespians were treated as second-hand citizens and disrespected. Audiences enjoyed watching actors at work, while some show producers exploited our predecessors in the same way as those were in other professions and were used and abused. We all have to understand that the union is very important, vital to fairness and quality of life. So, when you see me on the screen, you'll know that I'm okay because the union is protecting me.
Yeah. It says here up here on your inscription that you were Father Labor Day. Would you please tell us how you got this wonderful holiday started?
Here's the essentials of the story. It was on May 8th, 1882, at Clarendon Hall, at a meeting of the Central Labor Union of New York City, that I made the speech that got it all started. It went like this. Announcer, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, the father of Labor Day, Peter J. McGuire.
Good evening. As you know, I have traveled throughout many countries of the world. Days are set aside to celebrate saints, soldiers, statesmen, explorers, and many others. However, I have never seen a holiday dedicated to the working men and women who from primitive labor have carved out and made the grandeur that we celebrate in this society.
That's right.
Workers have earned the right to a day apart to be set aside. I believe, however, that if workers are to have such a day, we must take it ourselves.
Right, take it.
It should be on a Monday, so that workers can be assured 2 days off.
That's right.
It should be in September, because September is the most pleasant month of the year in the United States.
That's right.
It should be on the first Monday in September.
Okay.
On this day,
Yeah.
we will celebrate the working people of this country and all of the fruits of their labor. This day should be called Labor Day. A couple of years later, at a meeting of the Central Trades and Labor Unions of Chicago, they passed a resolution urging Congress to declare the first Monday in September a national holiday on June 28, 1892. It was signed into law by President Grover Cleveland.
And we have been enjoying Labor Day ever since.
That's right.
Oh my God. Thank you, Peter J. McGuire.
Thank you. All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, can we all say, and may God bless America?
Yeah! God bless America! Hey, where'd he go?
Who?
The actor you got.
Oh yeah,
where'd
he
go?
really go? Where'd he go?
Back into the annals of history. Well, let's all get back to our picnic, huh? After all, it is Labor Day. Hey, how about that song you two guys were doing? Can we do that? All right, let's do that.
You ready, guys?
Yeah.
Peter J.
McGuire, the father of Labor Day. He brought respect and honor across the USA. His vision spread around the world, safe work and better pay. Peter J. McGuire, the father of Labor Day. This day's not to honor a general or a saint. This day's not to honor a president or a state. This day is to honor the worker, and it's true. This day is to honor you and you and you.
Here's a little story about a man named Peter J. McGuire, who went all around the world to fight for the working man's rights. Goes something like this. 1, 2,